The number one reason why CS students give up on everything and don't persevere enough is their self-talk. How do you measure yourself? How do you evaluate yourself? For example, you planned to study 8 hours, but you ended up studying only 5 hours. Now, how do you see the gap of 3 hours? That will exactly determine whether you rise up again tomorrow or you just call yourself that I am not good enough to study for 8 hours. Anyway, what's the point in even opening the book the next day? And the self-talk that we give to ourselves is coming from our belief systems, our mindset. The question is, can we change our belief systems? Can we change our mindset? And if the answer is yes, how? That's exactly what we will learn in this video. In case you are new to this channel, I'm Harish, I'm a chartered accountant. I write books and I make videos specifically for CS students. Alright, let's get into the video. According to Stanford professor Carol Dweck, based on her mindset theory, there are two types of mindsets. One is fixed mindset and the other is growth mindset. People with fixed mindset think that their talent is pretty much set in stone, or in other words, their talent is fixed. They don't naturally think that they can grow their talent. Either they have that particular skill naturally or they will never have it at all. And because of the reason that they think the talent is fixed, the people with fixed mindset are driven by ego. If they think that they can win at a particular thing, they will even try that. And if they don't see a good chance of them winning at that particular thing, they don't even try that particular thing because they don't want to lose at all. Now, on the contrary, people with growth mindset do not think that their talent is set in stone. For them, the inbuilt talent is secondary. What matters the most to the growth mindset people is that what they can bring to the table in the form of effort. In a given day, with a full intention, they go to the field, they train, they study, they practice, they fall down 7, 8, 10 times also. But it doesn't matter to them. It does not define them. Their mistakes or their errors do not define them. What defines the growth mindset people is that did they do the effort required for that day or not. I used to be a person with a fixed mindset all throughout my CA career. I hardly believed that I can grow my talent. Either I naturally got something or I naturally did not get something. I particularly had huge difficulty in accounting, both at interlevel and final level. I used to be so terrible at amalgamation, consolidation. But on the other hand, I was naturally good with theory. I was naturally good with words. So chapters like auditing, information technology or strategic management, I naturally excelled it, even to an extent DT and IDT. Had I known about growth mindset back in my CA, I strongly believe I could have cleared my CA exams in a much easier, much better way. Now that you know the distinction between fixed mindset and growth mindset, let's just not stop here. It is quite obvious that we need to have growth mindset, but how do we apply it? Let's see 3 ways on how we can apply this growth mindset right away. The first actionable idea is the 20-hour rule. Let's say you opened amalgamation chapter, or let's say you tried to practice consolidation, or let's say you tried practicing derivatives. Now you have absolutely no clue about what that particular topic is. You are completely overwhelmed. As of now, you think that you have very less possibility of conquering this ever. So you naturally end up thinking that I am so poor in accounting. I am so poor in financial management. Derivatives is not for me. Now it is exactly at this point I want you to apply this 20-hour rule. According to this rule, right at the point of breakdown on anything, any roadblock or any obstacle that you have, right at the verge of breakdown, I want you to give yourself another 20 hours to work on that particular challenge. Work for the 20 hours, work for the next 20 hours. And then when the 20 hours is done, then you evaluate whether you can further proceed on this or you can quit this pursuit. Now, what exactly the problem that I'm currently dealing with in my life is this fear of talking to camera. I run a teaching business. I talk to my students so comfortably, so casually in live. But when I have to bring myself in front of the camera and speak something, there's something so subconscious in me that I feel absolutely paralyzed. This is the same thing that I have to an extent with respect to public speaking. So now, before I conclude myself, I'm not a person who is fit to make videos. I'm not a person who can make content. Let me quit this channel, or let me just make this channel faceless. Let me just record every video based on a teleprompter, which I was doing all the while. I have given myself this 20-hour rule. For the next 20 hours, I am going to record myself sitting in front of the camera just like this, without any script. I just have some hints. I just know what I'm going to talk about roughly, but whatever that I'm speaking is exactly how I'm talking, as if I will talk to a friend. I am monitoring the time that I'm spending in front of the camera. I have a log for that. I'm tracking the time. Right after 20 hours of this training, if I still feel like that I'm a terrible person who just cannot have the ability to talk to a camera, or who cannot grow his ability to make an impromptu speaking, then I will probably make a decision on I might really quit or something. But I so deeply know that if I bring myself to put into this very thing that I fear, to put myself into this very uncomfortable thing, and if I persist for another 20 hours, I'm going to be comfortable in talking to the camera. This is exactly what might be happening in your case as well. Right now you think derivatives is a terrible chapter. Right now you think branch accounting might be a terrible chapter. But I want you to sit with that for the next 20 hours. See where you end up after the end of 20 hours and then decide. My bet is that if you sit with that particular chapter, in another 5 hours, you don't even have to wait till 20 hours. 20 hours is just a comfortable buffer number that I have set for this rule. Maybe for bigger projects. But if you sit with this for even at the end of 3 hours, even at the end of 5 hours, I'm telling you, you will see a visible difference in how you feel about that particular chapter. You will not have that self-talk of, no, I am not made for amalgamation. No, I am not made for consolidation. You will not say like that, because you have created the evidence of doing the hard work. You have put the effort. Now that effort will speak for itself. You don't have to hunt for false confidence or anything or fake motivation. Your effort will give you the confidence. So that's the first point, which is the 20-hour rule. The second actionable idea with respect to applying growth mindset is the 20 failure rule. The first one was 20-hour rule. The second one is 20 failure rule. Now imagine there is a cricket team and you are the selector of that team. There is a player that you think, up and coming player, who think has great potential. So you see him performing at the lower level leagues and you give him an opportunity to play the big occasion. The question that I want you to ask yourself is, suppose you brought that player into the team. He is not performing at all. He is not performing up to the expectation. How many opportunities you will give him before you pull him out of the team? 3 chances, 5 chances, 7 chances, how many ever? You decide that. It's a hypothetical scenario. I brought up this scenario in order for you to just slightly change it and apply it to your situation. Now, in your case, in your CA preparation, you are the player and you are the selector. Switch on the selector personality and ask yourself, for this player that I am currently, how many chances do I give before I pull him out of this opportunity? The answer is, give yourself at least 20 failures every day. So I'll give you some examples. You are practicing consolidation. You just made a terrible mistake in minority interest computation. Or you thought you knew what is diluted EPS, but you really did not know what is diluted EPS. In the same way, I want you to make at least 20 mistakes, 20 failures every day, ranging from extremely tiny, extremely silly, small, to very big, almost life-altering failures. So if you make 20 mistakes a day, it will extrapolate into 600 mistakes a month. Now let's say you do 600 mistakes a month for 3 months, for 4 months. Every mistake is an iteration. Every mistake is like improving a prototype. Imagine having 600 iterations in a prototype, having 1200 iterations in a prototype. I have an error log. Every failure, have a log of that. The moment you start to have a log, you have high chances of not making those mistakes again. Write your errors in a notebook, write any type of errors, technical errors, study related errors or non-study related errors. So that concludes the second actionable idea. Let's go on to the third actionable idea, which is respect the delta. Like I gave an example at the intro of this video. You set yourself 8 hours a target to study in a day, but you ended up studying only 5 hours. Now, how do you see that 5 hours? Do you see the positive aspect that you ended up studying 5 hours, or do you see the negative aspect of not studying the rest 3 hours? What do you see? So that's the first point. Now, the respecting the delta aspect is, if you belong to growth mindset, if you have growth mindset, you set a target of 8, but you ended up achieving 5. The next day, you will still gather yourself up and go to the field with a full intention, and you try to give your best. Now, let's say on day 2, you ended up studying 5 hours and 15 minutes extra. You will see the 15 minutes extra and you will feel happy about yourself because you outperformed yourself. You grew up by 15 minutes comparing to the person who was yesterday. Today you grew by 15 minutes compared to the person who was yesterday. So this is exactly how the growth mindset people think. This is what is respecting the delta. The day before I studied 300 minutes. On second day I studied 315 minutes. The delta is 15 minutes. I grew by 15 minutes. This is how you should see yourself. Even if it is by 1 minute or even if it is by 2 minutes comparing to the previous day, even if it is seemingly insignificant, focus on the growth. Let's say your performance is fluctuating. On day 1 you studied 5, on day 2 you studied 5.5, but on day 3 you went back to 4 hours and 45 minutes. On day 4 you came to 6 hours. On day 5 you went back to let's say 4 hours and 45 minutes. Now, see the average. Compare yourself from this week to the previous week. Okay, last week's my daily average was 5 hours and 40 minutes. But this week, my daily average is 5 hours and 47 minutes. So at least I grow by 7 minutes a day on average weekly. So the moment you start to learn to see the growth aspect in your performance, your mind will subconsciously do miracles for you. Let's say you start to appreciate the delta of 15 minutes, which I gave you an example earlier. If you start to appreciate that increase in 15 minutes, then from the next day, from day 3, your mind will obviously give you suggestions on its own so that how you can increase that 5:15 to 5:30 or even 5:40. You will automatically keep the phone away. You will automatically shut down the TV. You will shut down the cricket match. You will shut down the football match. You will shut down the bad friends. So your mind will automatically give you the areas where you can exactly optimize. Now, the core concept which I shared at the early part of this video, which is fixed mindset versus growth mindset, was inspired from the book Mindset, written by Carol Dweck. It is one of the books that created the most positive impact in my life. Every CA student should read that book, particularly a CA student who has this 0 to 100. Either I will be 100 or I will be 0. This people who swing between the extremes, people who don't see the small incremental growth, those people should definitely read that. It's one of my strong recommendations. A concept so close to what we spoke today is perfectionism. Now, if you are again a student who is suffering from the disease of perfectionism, like you want to get everything done so perfectly at the first attempt itself, and I have made a very detailed video about how you can tackle this disease of perfectionism. It's linked here. Definitely check that. It will be a lifesaver for you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.